Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. I hope you all had a really great holiday season, and I hope your new year is off to a wonderful, wonderful start. I had a great holiday season, even though we had tragedy in our family. Collectively, we have come together and we're supporting each other and strengthening each other, knowing that life is fragile and we don't know when we will lose our loved ones. So hold your loved ones close this year. Make sure that you tell your children you love them every day. Make sure the people who are close to you, they know that you love them. They know that you care for them because we don't know when they will not be here. Anyway, my name is Annette Gillespie. I am an immigrant from the beautiful island of Jamaica. I came here 26 years ago and my journey has been interesting. You may say, why did you decide to come to the United States from a beautiful place like Jamaica where it's warm and you have the beautiful beaches? Well, one never knows where life is going to take you. So I was minding my own business in Jamaica one day. There came a lovely gentleman who was already living here in New York, and one thing led to the next, and I ended up here.
So tell us a little bit about the beautiful island of Jamaica. So it's a beautiful Jamaican morning. You wake up and you're smelling and you're hearing. Tell us the sounds and smells and sights that you feel and hear.
So many good things. As a child, the freedom of just getting up and running outside, and the cows are making their own noises and singing their own praises, the goats, the chickens, the birds, the plants, and the vegetation. So green and lush. Because I'm from Manchester. It's mountain now, so I wake up every morning to a beautiful mountain with dew. Especially in the wintertime, it's so much dew on the mountains and the big leaves from they call it a dasheen. It's a ground vegetable, and I loved washing my face in that dew. It is just so refreshing. It was amazing. And of course, if you're familiar with Jamaica, it's sunny most of the time. Beautiful beaches, beautiful people, beautiful souls, beautiful heart, organic foods, and really good music. And those were the things. But to keep it close to home, my parents, my mom and dad, God bless them. My father is no longer here, but my beautiful mother with her beautiful soul, I thank her so much for giving birth to 12 of us and kept us close as a family and taught us all the things that we know and all the things that make me who I am today.
Amazing. So tell us a little bit about how your mother created organization out of and kept 12 children happy and loved and all that.
I don't know how she did it. Now, as a mom, I only have two daughters, two children, period. And every day I said, I don't know how she did it. But I think, you know what? Her source was God. If you are connected to God, you have a higher power. You have strength. You wake up in the morning and you have a sick husband. You have sick children. You have people you have to provide for, and you don't know how you're going to do it. But because you're pulling from a higher source, that higher source being God, He's going to make a way for you. He said, if you trust in me with all your heart, He will direct your path. And my mom is a believer. She's a fighter. She's a warrior. And I think I can only say the way she did it was her faith in God. Really,
So that's her big strength.
her big strength. Love for her family, love for her husband, love for God. She puts God first before anything and anyone. We woke up in the morning, we had to read our Bible, we had to pray before we go to school, even on Sabbath morning, before we go to church. There was still a worship service, and she would put us in front of God every single day, and she would thank God for us and pray God's blessing on us.
How does God work into your own life?
Oh man. I grew up in the church. I was baptized. I was active. I took part. I sang on the choir, young people's worship. Now, I left my mother's church when I was after high school. I I just wanted to find my own way. So I left and I went to the Seventh-day Adventist church. My mom's church is Seventh-day Church of God, which is more Pentecostal kind of worship. Seventh-day Adventist, it's more low-key, and they teach you, they believe in healthy living, good food, organic living. Not that the Seventh-day Church of God don't believe that, but I just like the way the Seventh-day Adventist worship versus the Pentecostal Seventh-day Church of God. I like things quieter and I like things in order. And the Seventh-day Church of God, they were a little loud. Seventh-day Adventists, they were a little quiet, more my speed. But I remember, especially, I had to find God for myself, especially when I left home at 17, right after high school. I literally packed my bags. I knew at 13 I was leaving because there were too many people around me, too many noises, and I wanted to find my own way. I thought there was something more than that. So really, I had to reach out and I had to find God and I had to pray to him, and I had to really, really sat at his feet and stay there and wait for guidance. So God for me, it's a personal journey. It's not what I learned in church. It's the experiences that I have with him on a daily basis. It's the relationship just between me and him. That's how God fits into my life.
And in talking about all those people around you, some of those people were your brothers and sisters coming from a big family. Are you still in touch with them today? Are you close with your family? How do they figure into your life?
Oh, they are very, very much part of my life and close. We are a close-knit family. And even if we go off and we said, I don't like what you said, or I don't like what you're doing, you don't talk with this one for a period of time, don't get involved, because we're siblings and we're always going to have each other's back. We love each other even when we're not close together. I'm here in New York. They're in Jamaica. My sister's in Jersey. My brother, Dylan, is in St. Martin. But even when we don't talk to each other, we love each other. When we get together, it's like we didn't skip a beat. So as much as we're 12, I have 9 sisters and 2 brothers. I guess my parents were trying for the boys. They came towards the end. We're really a close-knit family, and we're always there for each other when we need them.
How have you brought that large family into your small family?
My 2 girls, Jessica, she's 25. She's been going to Jamaica since she was 3. And I wanted her to see how I grew up and how people live there and the things that we take for granted, whether it's the toys that they have, their own bedroom, the lifestyle that they have. I kind of raised them the way my mother raised me. But of course, I'm living in a different culture and a different system. So I raised them with the values that my mom raised me with, and then I put my New York twist to it, Meaning I give them, they earn the freedom. I didn't have freedom as a child growing up. You're going to go to church, you go to school, you have to be home at a certain time, no parties, no late going out, no hanging with the guys. You walk a straight and narrow road. So I allow my children, I raise them to respect themselves, and I set boundaries for them and their guidelines that they have to live by. But as they get older, I let them earn freedom. They did not allow to sleep at anybody's house when they were little, because everybody could come to my house, but they're not going there because my mom didn't let us go until we were a little bit older. If something happened, we could say, Mom, so-and-so did so-and-so to me, and I can tell them. So to answer your question, I do instill within my children those good old-fashioned Jamaican values that my mom and dad instilled in us, but with a little bit of twist. And thank God it worked for me. Every family is different and every family is unique. So what worked for my mom and her family when I was growing up, not necessarily everything is going to work for me and my family now in this 21st century. So even, this video may reach some families and they may going through things, and this is just how I raise my children. I let them earn privileges. And as they get older, they get a little bit more, get a little bit more. So at 16 or 17, you're allowed to go sleep over your friend's house because you know if somebody touched you inappropriately, now you can defend yourself and you can say, Mom, come get me because I don't like what's going on. And I know I wouldn't question that. I'm there to get you. As a younger child, if somebody did something, they would threaten you and you would be afraid to tell your parents because you're afraid of reprisal, what might happen. And they will tell you, if you tell your parents, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill your parents. When you're 16 and 17, you go like, yeah, go ahead, because guess what? I'm calling my mom and I'm telling your wife and I'm telling everybody that you are no good, so.
So it's wonderful. You brought your Jamaican values here. You've instilled that into your family. But let's go back a little bit further. You're in Jamaica. You come to the States for this wonderful man. How does that work?
Oh boy, how you gotta go there, John. Anyway, I'm glad you touched on that. It was an experience. See, I came to New York when I was 4 months pregnant with Jessica. I was not the girl to question everything. Okay, where are you going to put me? What are you going to do? I didn't want it to be about that. I wanted it to be a journey between two people. So I assumed that my husband at the time would know and realize and think, okay, here is a girl. She's born and raised in Jamaica. She has sunshine. She has light. She has, open air around her. So I figured I'm going to come. I'm going to live in a house. It's going to be cold because it's winter. Now, got off the plane. I was taken home by my husband at the time. So I pulled up to this house. I figured, okay, we're going up to the front door. No, we went around the side. We went down some steps into a cellar, what they call a basement apartment. Holy Lord. I thought, okay, you're coming to pick up something and we're going to go to our house. No, welcome home, Annette. This is what I have to offer you, me and this basement apartment. And oh Lord. Of course, I'm sitting there in my coat for like an hour. I would not take my coat off because I refuse to settle here. This is not where I'm sleeping tonight. No way. I want big windows. I want drapes. I want light. Anyway, I soon realized that, for now, this is your life, girl. Welcome to America.
But you didn't have to accept it. Why did you?
Because of the way I was raised. You make a promise, you keep it. You make a decision, you live by it. You make your bed, you lie in it. That was my decision to come here. It was my decision to marry the man I did. It was my decision period. So now I have to give myself the opportunity to see where this decision is going to take me. I made a promise to this man. I have a baby in my belly. I'm not a loser. I'm not a quitter. I'm not going to quit without exploring the possibility of maybe lifting him up, changing his situation, make the situation better for us all, for me, him, and the family that we're about to create. So I gave it everything that I had. Well, while I was crying and I was stressed and I was depressed, never experienced depression in my life, but I can surely tell you, I went through that when I came to New York. I cried every day. And my saving grace was the baby in my belly. Because I came close to just taking my pregnant self and going right back home to Jamaica. Because I was not going to leave a life that was a good life there. I had my own business. I was designing and sewing ladies wear, men's wear. I was designing British Airways flight attendant uniforms, Air Jamaica flight attendant uniforms. I had a good business. At Christmas time, I didn't go to sleep. Even when I met my ex, it was around Christmas time and he was there. He distracted me so badly. One time I sew a sleeve backwards and he was sitting there picking out the thread so I can correct the sleeves, making dresses for parties and children's uniforms to go back to school. I had a really nice business going. I packed it up and I came here. So I was not going to settle for a life that was less than the life that I knew back home.
So what did you do to turn things around?
Well, it wasn't easy because, as I said, if I came and not being pregnant, oh, yeah, okay, all right. I'm going to revamp things. I'm going to go out. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to look for an apartment. I'm going to just help this man to see that there's a better life than the life he has. So fast forward, the baby was born. I really knew at that time that we had to get out of that basement apartment. It was no place to raise a child. And if it's going to happen, I am going to be the one. I would have to be the one to initiate it. I would have to be the one to take the lead. Now I am no longer functioning as a female, this girly girl, tomboy. Now I'm a man, a woman, a mother, everything. Because God bless my ex-husband. He's a good man, but he was not a thinker. He was not a thinker. So I had to think for him a lot of times. And to just backtrack, I remember when I came here, 2 weeks after I came to New York, I'm pregnant. I'm in a basement. It's dark. It's not what I'm used to. And he decided he's taking off for the National Guard for 2-week drills in Portugal. I'm pregnant and I'm alone in a cellar. And you're gone. Oh, Lord, I cried every single day. I held the baby. I said, don't worry. It's going to be okay, but mommy has to just let it out. And I bawled. And then I'm sitting in the living room one day. It's like a living room. You have the kitchen over here, and you walk down the little dark little path, and you have the bedroom. I saw the first World Trade Center bombing. And people were running and crying, and their faces covered with soot. And I lost it again. Oh, I'm in a prison. This is a prison. They just blew up a big building. This is a little building. Everything, this is going to blow up with me too. My baby, me, everything. They're going to kill us. I don't know. What am I doing? I'm leaving. And he's nowhere. I can't even call him. I have to wait for him to call me. It was bad. It was really bad. And then a week later, he was still away. So the World Trade Center bombing. The next week, I heard a sound outside the basement door. I went to the peephole and I look, a man is changing his clothes or taking his clothes off. I'm pregnant. I dialed 911 so fast, you don't know. I said, I'm pregnant. I'm 5 months pregnant. There's a man taking off his clothes. I think he's going to break in. He's going to rape me and I'm going to be done, me and my baby. They were there in like 5 minutes. It turned out that it was a kid, I guess, wore the wrong thing to school and trying to change his clothes to go before he goes home. So that turned out okay, but I was a nervous wreck. They came in, I was shaking like a leaf. So they spent about maybe half an hour, 45 minutes with me just to calm me down. I'm telling you, it was rough. I didn't sleep at night. He worked at nights. Plus, so he came back and I let him have it. Oh man, did I let him have it? I said, I can't tell you what I told him, but anyway, I let him have it. And so we started looking for an apartment. But of course, I was pregnant. By this time, I'm maybe 7 months pregnant. So we stopped looking for an apartment until the baby was born. And then we found an apartment because you can't raise a baby in a basement. You got to think. God, that family did not think. They didn't think. But, people do the best that they know how. You cannot expect somebody to give you what they don't have, and I mean that in an endearing way. You can't expect somebody to do something that they don't know how to do. If they don't know how to do it, they just don't know how to do it, So we all will do the best that we can with what we have.
Completely. So there are many people out there living with adversity from one aspect or another. From your experience, what you just talked about, from your childhood, from your mother and father, from your sisters and brothers, from the person who you are. What would you tell people in dealing with adversity? What do they need to do? How can you draw from your experience and help them better deal with it same way you did? That you saw this wasn't your ideal life that you imagined and you took steps to change it. Where did you find that power? How can you help other people? Within you. And sometimes, no man is an island and no man stands alone. I remember learning this in elementary school. No man is an island, no man stands alone. Each man's joy is joy to me and each man is my friend. So you can't do this alone. After the baby was born and
We moved from the apartment. I started finding ways to change my situation. I joined up with a network marketing, multi-level market company that I could work from home. By the time Jess was 5 years old, going to kindergarten, before she was even 5, I think she was 3, I went through the newspaper. Every day I would read. I learned a lot of things and how to function in New York and in the United States, period, because it's a total different culture from Jamaica. You can't do anything. You need good credit. You need to have, what is credit? I don't know that. We don't have that in Jamaica. So I had to learn how to function financially, physically, emotionally in this country. And I didn't have anybody saying, Annette, this is America and this is what you do. I watched Oprah. I read the newspaper. I watch the news. The news was scary as. So the newspaper, I was able to skim through and get what I want from it. You know, it's not like now when you open up your cell phone, you can choose what news to read. So what I did and what got me out of that situation, once the baby was old enough, I got a job. I went to the newspaper. I saw an advertisement for a shampoo girl at Puran and Company, North Shore Towers. I said to myself, I'm the girl that gets my hair done every week. I know what it is when I go under the sink, how they wash my hair. I can do this. So I called them up. I said, I'm applying for the job as shampoo girl. I would like to come in for an interview. Would you consider me? They said, yes, come on Saturday. No, she said, come on Wednesday. I went on Wednesday. She liked me. I walked in there with my long-legged self, all dressed up in some heels and stuff. She liked me. She said, I really like you. Come on Saturday. I'm going to start you on Saturday. Saturday I went and I'm washing these women. The first person I put in the sink, in the chair, took the hose, ready to shampoo this lady's hair. The hose just got away from me and everybody in the salon got wet. And I'm laughing and she's laughing and I grabbed it, but that was the one and only time. I took charge of that situation and I learned from that mistake how to hold, even just to hold the hose. And I became one of her top shampoo person and then was promoted to assistant colorist. Then I got pregnant with my second daughter and I had to leave. But that was my first time. So I took that job and then from there, the kids went to school. I bought a minivan and I'm dropping my kids to school and I'm picking up other people's kids. I started a little bus service called Kitty Bus Service. So whatever life throws at you, you may have a lemon, as they say. It sounds cliche, but it's not. You decide what you do with your life. You decide how happy you want to be. You decide how much money you want to make. You decide what you want for yourself. And all of us have that within us. No matter, my situation might be different than your situation, but if you stop and you think, you can pull deep within, and if you don't know how to do it, don't be afraid to reach out to your friends and say, you know, I'm going through this. I don't know what to do. Can you help me? Mm-hmm. And now, you know, we have the internet. I didn't have that. I remember my ex had a Tandy computer that was this big, a cell phone that was that big. We didn't have access to, I didn't have anywhere to Google and said, how do I deal with coming from a country I didn't have that. Now we have that. Don't be afraid to reach out.
So you know? Other than your family, did you have any friends that were able to help you?
No. I had one, at the time I had a cousin, Celeste, and she went to church with my ex, and because of that we reconnected, and she was a lifesaver. And also, so Celeste, I was able to call her at night when Milton was out working, and Milton's grandmother, God bless her, Viola Wilson. She passed away at 93. She was the best woman next to my mom. Oh my God. And she didn't know my mom, but they were connected. She would send gifts for her when my sister Grace would visit. And she felt as though she knew my mom because she knew me. And grandma she was the one who kept me here. If I didn't have her, I think I would have gone back to Jamaica. But she would come every Friday. She would walk with me down. We lived on 98th Avenue in Queens Village, and she would walk down to Jamaica Avenue to the fish market or to the Woolworth store. And she's telling me, you got to get this for the baby. You should do this. And she would cook, and I would spend the Fridays, every Friday with her. And she was a lifesaver. She would encourage me, you know, to not to pay attention to the things that her grandson would do, which is my ex-husband. just be strong, she says. She was awesome. So between her and my cousin Celeste, they were the only people that I knew here. And my sister Grace, God bless her, she was the only one from Jamaica when I left. Her house was under renovations, so her telephone was ripped out of the wall, and she would walk a few blocks just to use a payphone to call me and to check upon me. And she would send me birthday cards and Christmas cards and just cards for no reason. God bless her soul. God really, really do bless her. And to this day, we have the closest bond that will never, ever be broken. She is just like part of me, you know?
So you have this amazing journey that has created who you are today and has instilled you with wonderful characteristics and strengths. How do you want to use this time to help other people?
My dream and my desire is, I know that a lot of people, even as we speak, might be from another country and they're here in New York or in the United States, period, or anywhere in the world. Just know that you're not alone. Just know that no matter how dark things get and no matter how sad you are and no matter what you're going through, just know that there's hope. Just believe. When we're really in the bottom of the pit, there's nowhere to go but up. Just believe that some way, somehow, the light is going to be at the end of the tunnel. And sometimes you have to really dig deep, and you have to pray. Just the act of prayer. I know a few people who don't believe in God, but they would admit to say there's something about praying, and they say there's no atheist in a foxhole. So when you get there, just remember you have to pull and you have to believe in something bigger than yourself. Because if you just believe in yourself alone, you're so weak, you're so fallible, you're so fragile. You're so infinitesimal, a small speck. We're almost nothing without believing in something bigger than us. So just have hope. Don't give it up. Your journey is going to be different than mine. But just know there's hope out there and there's help. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be ashamed to say that I am feeling this. Especially if I have to give thanks that my situation could have been different. I could have been in an abusive situation. I could have left my family in Jamaica and I came here and this man was abusing me. He was the quietest, nicest person. He was just not an open go-getter provider kind of person, but that didn't make him a bad person. I could have been in a worse situation, and I know that women really today, as I speak, could be in a situation where they're being abused. The man is abusing them physically, emotionally, mentally, everything. But even that, don't be afraid. Find a way to send a note or a message or something to somebody to say, I need help. And even if they threaten you, they're cowards. Death before dishonor. Take that leap of faith and reach out for help.
So how can this community use your medium to reach out for help? Can they reach out to you? What do you want them to do?
You can always reach out to me. You can send me, you can, leave a review in this video. You can reach out to me. You can tell me your story. You can ask me questions. You can go, because, when we're doing these videos, sometimes we get off and we said, I should have mentioned this and I should have mentioned that. But just by you reaching out and say, I am a mom. I have little babies. I'm alone. I don't have family. What can I do? Whatever the question is, don't be afraid. I am here to talk to you, to answer your question, to share more. There's so much more that I could share. And don't be afraid to reach out to me or anybody. Just reach out to somebody. Even don't think that they won't hear you and they won't understand. People will understand and people will reach out to you more than you can imagine. But specifically, if there's something in here that touches you and you have questions, just leave a comment, send a question, send an email. I will do my best to answer you, and I will tell you more about what I did, what the services that I use, how I started, how I get from a basement apartment to a home where it's warm, and how I raise amazing young women and how I did it. And I almost did it single-handedly, almost by myself, because most of it was by me. But God sent a few good people in my life, He will not leave us alone, and I will share all of that with you. But I hope this video will stimulate something within you to know that you're not alone. Whether you were born in this country or you're born somewhere else, because you don't have to be an immigrant to go through what I went through. There's so many women today that are being abused. They're locked up in a basement. I could come out if I wanted to. You know, a lot of women, they can't. A lot of women, yes, they have access to their cell phone and they might be Googling today and know that you're not alone. You're not alone. And I hope that 2019, that the struggles that you've been having and the things that you wanted to do with your life and your goals and your dreams, whether it's going back to school, whether it's being a better mom, whether it's being a better parent, whether it's being a better friend, that you will find the courage to just follow your heart and do something that is really good for you and something that can change your life and your family's life. And the most important thing I want to kind of wrap up with this is, don't ever make your journey about you. Because even though you're the one wearing the shoes and they're really tight on your feet, even through your tears, find someone that you can be a blessing to. Whether it's with a phone call, you know somebody who is an elderly person, or somebody who has children with disabilities, or somebody who is just going through something. Don't think that you can't make an impact. Just call them for no reason. Just say, I was thinking about you. How are you doing? You know, you go out to the grocery store, give somebody behind you, look around you to see who has just a few items. Let them go in front of you. Don't hurry for the parking lot. Just when you wake up in the morning, find at least 5 things to be thankful for. And one of them, ask God to send you someone that you can be a blessing to. And if you look around, you can find a lot of people that you can be a blessing to. And in the giving we receive, whatever we're seeking, we should give. And by doing so, by default, it comes right back to you.